Welcome to this lab. We are going to deploy a Hugo website with Cloud Build and Firebase pipeline. So first of all, we will open the virtual machine from here. That is already pre-built in this lab. And go to SSH. Authorize that. Okay, good. So now let's read what is in the files here. Okay, so next we're going to install the Hugo website. Next we're going to create a repository and the initial website. So we will install the GitHub and GitHub CLI on the Linux virtual machine and set up your project ID. Right, I just enter this command here. Right, it's done. So let me clear this. And now we will run this command to configure the Git and GitHub. Everything default and press yes. Log into the web browser. Now we will press enter to open the GitHub from your browser. If you can't open it, you still can copy the link from here. Paste here. Continue. So they're asking you for the pass one-time code. Here, copy this one. And then paste here. Continue. Now I can get it set up. Once you get it set up, you should see this show here. Right, we will enter the following command to create and clone the code repository. Right, that is done. Let's mark this progress as completed. Oh good. Now we can enter the commands here to build the site structure. So normally the Hugo command create the directory. The -- force option will create the site in the repository directory which already exists. This allows you to keep the Git related information in the directory that you just cloned. Now we will install the themes. So when you complete, you should see a message indicating the theme has been cloned. And then we will remove the theme directory. Okay, so we can start viewing the website in a browser. So basically you can copy this, paste here, and then for the IP address you will use this external IP here, replace it. Right, you should see your website. Okay, so now let's go back to your Linux shell. Okay, press Ctrl C to stop it. All good. Next, we are going to install the Firebase CLI in the Linux instance shell using this command. Now you need to initialize the Firebase after this. Okay, so let's choose here on the menu. Okay, I will select this hosting set. Right, this one. Copy that. So we can close this, open a new one, enter this. Yeah, you can see the same website display. So I just take you to the GitHub and see that this is my repository, my Hugo site. If I click inside, there is no files yet because we haven't commit anything. Next, we will go to task 2, automate the deployment. Let me clear the screen. So we will perform the initial commit. Let's do this. Right, we will configure the git command global parameter by entering the command below. And then in the Linux shell, we will enter the command below to create a git ignore file to exclude the certain directories from the repository. And then now we will do a git add. Right, that's done. If I come back here, if I refresh, I should see there are some files listed. That's right. So now we will configure the build. So we will Cloud build will use a file name called cloud build YAML in the root directory of the repository to perform the build. So the file is in the YAML format. Right, so in the Linux shell we enter the commands. Note that the final period at the end of the cp command. So we will run the following command to see how the YAML file looks like. Right, this is how it looks like. Right, here are some observations about the cloud build YAML file. There are 3 name steps in the file, each of which is performed by a container image. The first 2 steps use a Google supported builder to use curl to download the Hugo and Firebase tool. These 2 steps run in parallel. Using the curl builder is faster than installing curl manually. The third step uses a standard Ubuntu container to install Hugo and Firebase, after which the site is built and deployed. Installing the Hugo and Firebase for each deployment allows you to change the version of Hugo whenever you desire, while also using the latest version of Firebase. The tar and wget commands are nearly identical to those used earlier in the install Hugo access script. The file also uses a custom substitution variable, Hugo version, and a Google provided substitution variable project ID to allow this template to be used in different environments. The Hugo and Firebase binaries are created and installed in the temporary directory so that they do not inadvertently get deployed to the website itself. Now we will connect to the GitHub repository and create a cloud build repository. Let me clear this, duck in this. Okay, so let's log in, follow this link. Right, so I need to do some authentication here. Let me copy this. I'll paste the link right here. Right, press continue. I will use this one, the existing one. Yeah, they say connection configured successfully. Good. I just come here and choose the repository, this one, and save. Yep, I think that's all. I go and build the repository now. So they say it's done. It created a repository. Now we will check, mark the progress as done. So we will need to create the cloud build trigger. We're going to create a trigger now. Before we create the trigger, we can take a look at the trigger first. Yep, it's empty. Now we will create one. Let's enter this command. Here there's a new trigger created called commit to main branch 1. So if I refresh this page, then I will see a trigger created. Okay, let me check my progress. Yep, it's done. Now the cloud build service account. The cloud build service account must have permission to use Firebase to deploy the website. We will test the pipeline first. Back to our Linux shell. Okay, make sure you're in that directory. And now we're going to check that there's a file called config, because we are going to change that file. Right, I'm now there. Press I, and then you just change this to something else. Maybe just mark it as welcome, and then press escape, WQ exclamation mark, done. Okay, so now we can enter this command to commit the change to the repository and trigger the cloud build pipeline. So I'm back to this history now. Right, there's a build coming out, so if I click into it, so it's still running, and before long you will see that all green. Right, that's done. Right, you should see it in the GitHub, the GitHub website now. And then look at the cloud build. I can see it says here it has been updated 2 minutes ago. Now if I click on the commit, I should be able to see some message. If I click this, right, then you will see what did you edit. Good. Now let me clear this so I can check the build history using this command. I can also check the build log for the current build using this command. Alright, that looks good. And now I can also see the G-Cloud build log from here. Okay, let's test. So let's mark my progress as completed. That is good. So if I refresh my website, you should see this welcome come up. Thanks for watching. You can end the lab now.